It's my honor and privilege to be with you for a little while today. I've heard you throughout the day. My office is upstairs on the north end, and this is a long day for you, so I'm very impressed. And I just met a new friend, Elizabeth, over there, who wants to go to law school after she graduates from Ivy Tech, and she's now being recruited by Representative Smith to make sure she goes to law school. I just have a few minutes, and I'd like to really say what I want to say and then open up to questions. I may not be able to answer your questions, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask a couple questions. I only have a few minutes. I think you're probably not too enamored with hearing me, so I brought along a couple of people that I admire, George Washington Carver and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and John F. Kennedy. So they can't be here, but I'm going to mention some things they've said. That was a very kind introduction. What was not said is that I'm the first one in my family to go to college. How many of you are the first one to attend college? Not that I was the smartest in my family, but my parents didn't have the opportunity. They didn't have the financial resources. So they made it clear that I don't care what you do, Stevie. That's what they call me, Stevie. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you go for a week and drop out, but I want you to experience college. So I know some of you, some of the times, are thinking, why am I doing this? Why am I missing family time? Why am I missing a couple of you, party time? Why am I doing the homework? Why am I taking the tests? Why am I doing the papers? Why am I giving up my evenings predominantly, my evenings, some of my days? It's because you want to make a difference in your own life. John F. Kennedy once said, one person can make a difference. Everyone should try. And ladies and gentlemen, by your efforts, with the support of your family, hopefully, if not on your own, you've decided that my education is important to me and that you're willing to sacrifice other things short-term for a long-term gain. This is a get-to-want-to event for me. Unfortunately, I'm old, and many events in my life have been, I gotta do it, I have to do it. This is a get-to-want-to event, and I hope you are here because you are celebrating what you have accomplished, what you are accomplishing. The great thing about, some of the great things about your school, Ivy Tech, is that 98% of you are Hoosiers. 74% of you are going to school at the same time you are going to work. Most of you, 2/3 of you, are enrolled part-time. Some of you are married, and about half of you have children. So my hat is off to you. I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to the Army and a little money for public speaking and go to college on a reduced rate and gave 4 years back to the Army. George Washington Carver once said that education is the key to unlocking the golden door of freedom. Freedom of opportunity. Freedom of opportunity to succeed, to expand your horizons, to be successful, however you wish to define success. Education is indeed the key. My personal belief is that the greatest defense that our democracy has is education. You see, the more educated the world is, the better off we are. And the more educated we are, the better off our country is. Or to coin Nike, actually not to coin Nike, to steal from Nike. Don't anybody call them and tell them I stole from Nike. Thank you for just doing it. And that doing it is getting your education. I know you wonder sometimes about, is it worth it? I'm here to tell you it is. I never imagined in my wildest dreams I would be on the Indiana Supreme Court. I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would have been the elected judge of the Boone County Circuit Court. When I was young, I never imagined, quite frankly, going to college. But I was taught it's okay to dream, and it's okay to go after those dreams. So I think that's what all of you are doing, and I commend you for that. And again, I'm so impressed that you've been here all day. my backside would be blistered by now. Maybe that's why some of you are standing, but I really appreciate, and we're all very impressed with your perseverance. Anybody ever heard of Ben Franklin? Yeah, Ben Franklin. This is what Ben Franklin said about education. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Not in the banks, although that's a good investment. Not in the stock market, although that's a good investment. The best investment you are making in yourself and in your future and your family's future is your education. Because remember, education, in my opinion, is the very best defense we have for our democracy. Nelson Mandela, when asked about education, once said that education is the most powerful weapon with which you can change the world. If some or all of you go out there and change the world, that's great. But I suggest you think not necessarily in terms of changing the entire world, changing the world that you live in. Change your immediate area. And that way you will in fact change the world. Again, you will live up to the expectation, the request, the ask that John F. Kennedy gave us. Remember, one person can make a difference, everyone should try. And you are trying to do that by going to school. And you understand the hardships. Many Americans don't understand hardships. See, hardships to me are nothing more than opportunities. You understand that life is not the way it's supposed to be. Life is the way it is. It's the way you cope with it that makes the difference. Maybe you didn't have the chance to go to college right out of high school. Maybe you didn't get the chance to go to college during the day. Maybe you've had to juggle work and family and some hardships along the way and just now focusing on your college. Or maybe in high school you weren't focused at all on college. I raised one like that. He graduated from high school by the hair of his chin, chin, chin. It was only later, after Colin was presented with two options. Colin, about age 21, 22, his mother and I said, you've got two options. You can go in the military, that's option one, or join the Army, that's option two. He thought about it and said, I'll go in the Army. Got his GI Bill. Got his graphic artist degree. Won't tell you where. And then he's got a big boy job, and a big boy house, and a big boy car, and a big boy 401k, and a big boy motorcycle. So you see, it is not the speed at which we move or necessarily the route in which we take, as long as we, at the end of the day, get to the end of the journey. And your journey is higher education, and I applaud you for that. I want to share with you my personal motto. Some days are better than others, but this is my personal motto. Work hard, do good, be proud, have fun, and do what is right. I think you are working hard. I hope you are doing what is right. I want you to be proud about everything you have accomplished and everything that you will accomplish. But I also want you to have fun. I'll close and then take a couple questions with Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, famous individual, president, lawyer, inventor, philanthropist, jack of all trades, master of everything. And what he said about education. Bigotry is the disease of ignorance, of morbid minds. Education is the antidote. You are the future. I'm very proud to have stood before you and looked at you and admired you and all. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you're doing. And I wish you the best success. I can take a couple questions. I think there's a microphone. One question, let me go ahead and answer the obvious question. What do you wear under the robes? Clothes. How many tattoos do you have? 2. Yes, sir.
cousin, a townsman, Thomas Jefferson, and my question is, how do you interpret the Indiana Constitution? Do you interpret it through the intent of the ones who wrote it, the founders of Indiana, so to speak, or do you interpret it through a modern era thinking, modern language, instruction?
The question is, how do we interpret, or how do I interpret the Indiana Constitution, the U.S. Constitution? Do I put myself, I'm paraphrasing, back in the position of the drafters, and look at it in a very specific way, or do I try to look at it from different perspectives? Is that fair rephrasing the question? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. We, the judicial branch, hope to be most of the time the silent branch, and that is we call the balls and strikes, we're the referees. And we're not on the playing field like the executive branch or the legislative branch. I vote just like you. I trust my representatives. They have our best interests in heart. They have a very difficult decision. What we're asked to do, what judges are asked to do, and what appellate judges are asked to do from time to time, fortunately not every day, is to try to interpret a new law as it relates to our Constitution, our founding document. And the best answer, the most honest answer is, it's a mix. On one hand, if you want to look at the literal language of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that's good at times, but if you don't put a modern perspective on that, then we're stuck with, originally, all men are created equal and not women. And that's not really what we believe was intended. So that's the danger in a literal interpretation. There's also danger as you venture farther and farther and farther away from a literal interpretation. And that's the struggle. Fortunately, on our Indiana Supreme Court, on the U.S. Supreme Court, on state Supreme Court, you have more than one individual. I was a trial court judge for 16 years. I tell people I'm only 20% of the person I used to be. I'm only one of 5 votes. The good news is you have 5 people, or 9 people, or 7 people, or on the Court of Appeals, 3 people, focusing on each and every one of those issues from a varied perspective, diverse background. So hopefully our job is to get it the best we can and not do injustice to our Constitution, not do injustice to our way of life, but try to provide some guidelines. Unfortunately, what we do is not black and white. We don't get cases that are math correction, 2 + 2 = 5, no it's 4, send it back. I tell people what we do, unfortunately what we get is not black or white, but gray. And not just that 50 shades of gray, there are hundreds and hundreds of shades of gray. And what we're trying to do, what is the best right? What is the most right? Certainly one factor is what was intended? What's the legislative history? What's the precedent going forward? It's a very good question. We all wrestle with that every day. Every day. While she's getting ready to ask her question, let me say one other thing. All of this is from the heart. To me and to everybody else, it doesn't matter where you go to school. It doesn't matter what the degree is. It doesn't matter the house you live in, the car you drive. What matters is who you are. And I would ask you, as you go forward each day in your life, don't give up on your to-do list. I don't want to get in trouble with the faculty that are here. But don't worry so much about your to-do list in the big picture. Small picture, you better worry about your to-do list. In the big picture, worry more about your to-be list. To be a better student, to be a better person, to be a better husband, to be a better wife, to be a better father, to be a better mother, to be a better friend, to be a better citizen. Focus on that to-be list. And if you do, along with your to-do list, you'll be way ahead of everybody else. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
One more question.
Okay, I was told last year that in January there was a law that was supposed to come into effect that if you work over 30 hours a that you should be eligible for benefits, and like medical benefits and holiday benefits, all that, with your employer. Do you know anything about that law that was supposed to happen in January?
The question was, what, if any, effect of a new law in January concerning working over 30 hours a week? The short answer is I don't know. The legislature would have passed that law unless it was a federal law. It's not reached us for interpretation. I work more than 30 hours a week. Everybody in my office works more than 30 hours a week, so I'm not familiar with that. The Indiana Department of Labor could probably answer that question, or the Federal Department of Labor, or maybe one of the legislators could get that answer for you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not familiar with that. Again, thank you for what you do. I'm very proud of you. Work hard, do good, be proud, have fun, and do what's right.